You are invited to participate in a true multimedia experience coming to a home near you. LCM TV is bringing Lake County into the new millennium with news, live broadcast, information, music, talk shows, and local programming, all streaming in high definition online and soon to be on your Roku box. Join us at lcm-tv.com or be a part of our studio audience. You can also watch the shows at lakecomagazine.com as we provide programming to inform, enlighten, and maybe even enrage you. On Lake County Magazine Talk Show with Terry and Pete the Tax Guy, Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Like racing? Try the Checkered Flag Show, hosted by Ace Naylor on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. All ages and divisions in regional and national fields. Joni Lane brings a positive light to you every Monday at 3 p.m. Pasha Space brings an international flair as they discuss ecological, health, and social issues in Haiti with people around the world. End up your week with positive, conscious sounds on Saturday at 9 a.m. with Sister T on the Bridge. This show is also simulcast on KMEC 105.1 FM in Ukiah. Our latest show, LCM TV News, is brought to you live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, and rebroadcast at 6:30 p.m. and noon daily, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, featuring national, regional, and local news, weather, and sports. We have it all here for you on your local TV station, LCM TV. Join us online and soon on Roku, giving you access to all the best Lake County has to offer. We are LCMTV.com, your multimedia connection. Tune in for the fun. It's live TV at its best.
Good afternoon. This is LCM TV News at noon. We're not your normal news. I'm Pete Schiffman.
And I'm Amanda Gonzalez.
And with our lead story today, terrorists attacked sites in France, Tunisia, and Kuwait this morning, leaving a bloody toll on 3 continents and prompting new concerns about the spreading influence of jihadists. In France, attackers stormed an American-owned industrial chemical plant near Lyon, tried unsuccessfully to blow up the factory, and left behind a decapitated corpse. In Tunisia, at least one gunman disguised as a vacationer opened fire at a beach resort, killing at least 37 people before security forces shot him to death, officials said. And the Islamic State claimed responsibility for a suicide bombing in one of the largest Shiite mosques in Kuwait City during Friday prayers. I really know how to pronounce that, folks. The bomb filled the hall with smoke and left dead and wounded scattered on the carpet, according to witnesses and videos posted online. Local news reports that at least 25 people have been killed and wounded in the assault.
Sorry. God, Jesus Christ. There was one for every.
This is said, wounded in the assault, which was extraordinary for Kuwait and appeared to be a deliberate attempt to incite strife between Shiites and Sunnis. In a message circulating on social media, the Islamic State called the suicide bomber one of the Knights of the Sunni people. There was no immediate indication that the attacks had been coordinated. But the 3 strikes came at roughly the same time, and just days after the Islamic State, the militant group also known as ISIS or ISIL, called for such operations during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan.
Also, in a long-sought victory for a gay rights movement, the Supreme Court ruled on Friday that the Constitution guarantees a right to same-sex marriage in all 50 states. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote the majority opinion, the 5-4 decision. He was joined by the court's 4 more liberal justices. Justices Scalia, Roberts, Thomas, and Alito all voted against the decision. The decision, the culmination of decades of litigation and activism, came against the backdrop of fast-moving changes in public opinion, with polls indicating that most Americans now approve of same-sex marriage. Justice Kennedy said gay and lesbian couples had a fundamental right to marry.
8 cruise ship passengers and a pilot were killed when a sightseeing plane crashed into a cliff base in southeastern Alaska Thursday. The de Havilland DHC-3 Otter turboprop crashed under unknown circumstances above Ella Lake near Ketchikan. Coast Guard Petty Officer Lauren Steenson said the agency received a report around 2:15 p.m. local time that the plane was overdue. Troopers said an emergency locator transmitter was activated in the Misty Fjords National Monument, and a helicopter pilot spotted the downed aircraft above Elok Lake, about 800 miles southeast of Anchorage. The 8 passengers are guests on the Westerdam, which is on a 7-day cruise that departed Seattle on Saturday. Holland American Line in a statement said, "We're incredibly distressed by the situation, and our thoughts and prayers are with those on board the plane and their families." The Ketchikan Daily News reports the Westerdam has been scheduled to leave the city about 20 miles from the crash site at 1 p.m., but it remained in port Thursday evening.
Rescue efforts continue after one F-16 Fighting Falcon aircraft training with the 162nd Wing Arizona Air National Guard crashed about 8 p.m. on June 24, 2015, 5 miles east of Douglas Municipal Airport. The F-16 belonging to the Iraqi Air Force was being flown down by an Iraqi student pilot on a night training mission. The status of the pilot is still unknown at the time. The Air Force has assembled an interim safety board to investigate the incident. Additional details will be provided as soon as they become available. The pilot of the crashed F-16 Fighting Falcon aircraft has been identified as Brigadier General Rafid Mohammed Hassan by a spokesman for the Iraqi Defense Minister. The fate of Hassan remains unknown. Thursday afternoon, U.S. Representative Martha McSally released a statement on the crash. "My thoughts and prayers are with the pilot, his family, and all first responders. Instances like this remind us that those who wear the uniform put their lives on the line every day and deserve our constant gratitude."
The Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that President Obama's health care law allows the federal government to provide nationwide tax subsidies to help poor and middle-class people buy health insurance, a sweeping vindication that endorsed the larger purpose of Obama's signature legislative achievement. The 6-3 ruling means that it is all but certain that the Affordable Care Act will survive after President Obama leaves office in 2017. For the second time in 3 years, the law survived an encounter with the Supreme Court. But the court's tone was different this time. The first decision in 2012 was fractured and grudging, while Thursday's ruling was more assertive. Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. wrote, "For a United 6-justice majority, Congress passed the Affordable Care Act to improve health insurance markets, not to destroy them." In dissent on Thursday, Justice Scalia called the majority's reasoning quite absurd and interpretive jiggery-pokery. Really. He announced his dissent from the bench, a sign of bitter disagreement. His summary was laced with notes of sarcasm, sometimes drawing amused murmurs in the courtroom, as he described the interpretive somersaults. Interpretive somersaults. He said the majority had performed to reach the decision. The case concerned a central part of the Affordable Care Act that created marketplaces known as exchanges to allow people who lack insurance to shop for individual health plans. Some states set up their own exchanges, but about 3 dozen allowed the federal government to step in to run them. Without the subsidies, many people would be unable to afford insurance, and healthier consumers would go without coverage, leaving insurers with a sicker, more expensive pool of customers. That would raise prices for everyone, leading to what supporters of law call death spirals. The statutory scheme compels us to reject the petitioner's interpretation, Chief Justice Roberts wrote, referring to the challengers, because it would destabilize the individual insurance market in any state with a federal exchange and likely create the very death spirals that Congress designed the act to avoid.
The State Department said on Thursday that 15 emails sent or received by Hillary Rodham were missing from records that she has turned over, raising new questions about whether she deleted work-related emails from the private account she used exclusively while in office. The disclosure appeared to open the door for Republicans on Capitol Hill to get more deeply involved in the issue. Senator Lindsey Graham said he planned to send a series of questions to the State Department about the missing emails and about why it allowed her to use the personal account. The State Department's statement is likely to increase pressure on the House Speaker, John Boehner, from fellow Republicans to subpoena the server in Ms. Clinton's home that housed the account. Ms. Clinton had said that she gave the State Department about 50,000 pages of emails, that she deemed to be related to her work as Secretary of State, and deleted roughly the same number. Her longtime confidant and advisor, Sidney Blumenthal, responding 2 weeks ago to a subpoena from the House Committee investigating the 2012 attacks in Benghazi, Libya, gave it dozens of emails he had exchanged with Ms. Clinton when she was in office. Blumenthal did not work at the State Department at the time, but he routinely provided her with intelligence memos about Libya, with dubious information which Clinton circulated to her deputies. State Department officials then cross-checked the emails from Blumenthal with the ones Clinton had handed over and discovered that she had not provided 9 of them, portions of 6 others. The chairman of the House Committee said that many of the emails that Clinton had not handed over showed that she was soliciting and regularly corresponding with Sidney Blumenthal, who was passing unvetted intelligence information about Libya from a source with a financial interest in the country. These emails directly contradict her public statement that the messages from Blumenthal were unsolicited. Blumenthal identified the source of his information as Tyler Drumheller, a former ranking CIA official. According to a person with knowledge of this testimony to the Benghazi panel, Drumheller was part of a group that sought to do business in Libya.
Leave it to the CIA.
Yeah.
According to federal law enforcement officials, the Justice Department will probably file federal hate crime charges against the white man accused of carrying out a massacre at a storied black church in South Carolina. Dylan Roofs, 21, already faces 9 counts of murder in state court, where he could be sentenced to death, and a conviction there would make federal action largely symbolic. It was not clear whether state prosecutors would defer to a federal case. Analysts at the Federal Bureau of Investigation have concluded with a high degree of certainty that Mr. Roof posted a racist manifesto online, which could be crucial to a hate crime prosecution. The website was registered in February under his name, though the person controlling it tried the next day to make it anonymous. When a crime can be prosecuted under either state or federal law, the Justice Department often refrains from acting, particularly when a suspect faces severe state penalties. But Justice Department and FBI officials agreed that the Charleston shooting was so horrific and racially motivated that the federal government must address it. South Carolina does not have a hate crimes law, and federal investigators believe that a murder case alone would leave the racial component of the crime unaddressed.
The lead government watchdog for the IRS revealed that Thursday the computer evidence was erased during the investigation into the agency's targeting scandal, months after the IRS was told to preserve documents. J. Russell George, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, testified to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee that IRS employees erased computer backup tapes shortly after officials discovered thousands of emails related to the tax agency's Tea Party scandal had been lost. As many as 24,000 emails were lost because 422 backup tapes were magnetically erased. Around March 4, 2014, George said his office found no direct evidence the tapes were destroyed to hide information from Congress or law enforcement, but the destruction nevertheless defied a preservation order and is sure to raise suspicions over motive. Committee Chairman Jason Shavitz, R. Utah, said Thursday that we have been misled. Sorry. There has been evidence that has been destroyed, George said. Those tapes likely contain 2010 and 2011 emails to and from former IRS official Lois Lerner, who has emerged as a central figure in congressional investigations. He said they will most likely never be recovered. A source familiar with the matter told Fox News the evidence was destroyed 10 months after a preservation order for the emails. 7 months after a subpoena and 1 month after IRS officials realized they were potential problems locating certain emails. The destruction of evidence also occurred about 3 weeks before IRS Commissioner John Koskinen testified to Congress that they would provide documents to Congress Further, the IG review found that the IRS never looked at 5 of the 6 potential places where the emails might have been stored, including the server.
Really? Having worked with the IRS for 25 plus years, if the taxpayer did that, we'd be in prison.
And to not look at the server first?
Yeah. Well, if you don't provide documents, they don't care. You just pay the taxes. Anyway, Governor Bobby Jindal, Louisiana's first non-white governor since Reconstruction, but whose popularity plummeted as the state struggled with a $1.6 billion shortfall, announced Wednesday that he is running for president in 2016. Jindal, 44, an Indian American, joins the crowded field of Republican contenders in what even his supporters call a long-shot candidacy. Standing before a giant American flag in an event center in this New Orleans suburb, Jindal, a 2-term governor and a former congressman who once led the state health agency and the University of Louisiana system, presented himself as a policy writer whose resume sets him apart. He said that Louisiana cut the number of government bureaucrats by more than 30,000 positions, and that the state now had the highest population in its history, with more people moving to Louisiana than leaving it. Jindal, who took office in 2008, has kept a low profile on the national stage compared with Jeb Bush, Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin, and other Republican candidates and likely candidates. And his approval numbers in the state have fallen sharply as he nears the end of his tenure amid criticism that he has been more focused on laying the groundwork for a presidential run than on Louisiana's fiscal troubles. Jindal's announcement came 2 days after Wall Street Journal NBC News poll found him sharing the bottom of a list of 16 candidates. In a telephone survey, 0% of Republican primary voters said Jindal was their top pick to be the nominee. How can it be a top pick with 0%?
That's what they said.
Yeah, I know.
0% said they were top pick.
Bush earned 22%. Another Bush.
Donald Trump's Miss USA pageant is in serious jeopardy after comments made by Trump has caused the host, the band, and the television network carrying the event to pull out. Rosalind Sanchez, the Puerto Rican singer / actress and star of Lifetime's Devious Maids, has bowed out as co-host of the Miss USA pageant, citing Donald Trump's comments in his June 16th presidential bid speech. I was very excited and proud to have been invited to participate in Miss USA, but as a Latina, this is now inconceivable, Sanchez said in a statement. Although I am not Mexican, I am Puerto Rican and a proud Latina, and his comments were an insult to our culture. I won't sponsor anything produced by Donald Trump. Sanchez was slated to co-host the Spanish-language simulcast of Miss USA alongside actor Christian De La Fuente, who also pulled out. Likewise, on Thursday, Univision announced it was ending the company's business relationship with the Miss Universe organization based on his remarks. Sanchez is the latest Latin artist to raise her voice in protest following Trump's speech, in which he referred to Mexican and Latin American immigrants as criminals and rapists. Following the rock band's Mania very public denouncement of the speech during a Los Angeles show, Colombian star J Balvin canceled his Miss USA performance. It would have been his first mainstream TV performance in the U.S. Early on his speech, Trump said the U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're bringing rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. It's coming from more than Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America. It's coming probably from the Middle East. Sanchez, herself a former beauty queen, she won Miss Puerto Rico Petite and Miss America Petite, played FBI agent Elena Delgado on Without a Trace, and now plays Carmen Luna in Devious Maids.
The problem is Dump's ranked number 2 in the Republican dumps. Well, he is a dump. Ranks number 2 behind Bush in percentages. Yes, Trump's number 2. Anyway, folks, coming up next, the regional news, and we'll be right back.
Good job. What I want you to do, though, when I send you... Whose mic pack is on?
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
And welcome back. In regional news today, actor Patrick Macnee, star of the TV Avengers TV series, I really do know how to pronounce that,
I know you
has
do.
died in California at the age of 93. The Baton, best known for playing John Steed in the 1960 television spy show, died at home with his family and at his bedside. Macnee, who served in the Royal Navy during World War II, also played roles in theater, appearing on Broadway. A statement on the actor's website read, "Whenever he went, he left behind a trove of memories." He died peacefully at his home in California's Rancho Mirage on Thursday, Rupert said. He played a number of minor roles, including one in Laurence Olivier's 1948 film version of Hamlet, before rising to fame in the original Avengers series between 1961 and 1969. The series developed a cult following around the world, with Macnee portraying the quintessential English and mysteries super spy John Steed. Steed was known for his dress sense, always donning a bowler hat and carrying an umbrella, which was used as a secret weapon. He never used a gun. Macnee also features as a guest star in dozens of British, American, and Australian TV productions, and made a cameo in Oasis video for Don't Look Back in Anger. He scored a top 10 hit of his own in 1990 with Kinky Boots, a novelty song recorded with Avengers co-star Honor Blackman, which was championed by Radio 1's then breakfast DJ Simon Mayo. Macnee had 2 children, son Rupert and daughter Jennifer, and 1 grandson. He was married 3 times, including to actress Catherine Woodville, with whom he acted in The Avengers. He had been a U.S. citizen since 1959.
A woman and her dog were injured when they were attacked by a bear Monday night outside a home near Chico in Butte County. At about 11:30 p.m. Monday, a woman who lives in Magalia heard a noise in her yard and her dog began barking. She let the dog out, heard sounds of a fight, and stepped out herself. According to California Department of Fish and Wildlife, Captain Patrick Foy, she said a bear immediately came out from beneath a blue tarp, clawed her on the shoulder, and bit her before running off. The woman was taken to the hospital and treated for a non-life-threatening wounds and given rabies treatment. The dog, a 9-year-old golden retriever, was taken to a veterinarian and is in tough shape. According to Foy, sounds like he fought heartily. Foy said of the dog, Fish and Wildlife are deploying a trap to the area to try and capture the offending bear. Foy said it should be in place by the end of the day. If a bear is trapped, it will probably be taken to Sacramento to see if its DNA can be matched to that on the woman's clothing. If so, the animal will be killed as a threat. If not, it will be released into the wild. People should also keep pet food inside at night and pick up any rotten fruit that may have fallen from trees. People who jog should carry a whistle that could scare off an attacking animal or pepper spray if they have it. Foy said bear attacks on humans are unusual, with the last one he can recall being a couple years ago at the Lake Tahoe. Last month, a smaller bear was struck and killed by a car on Highway 20.
And this next story should not be occurring in today's society.
Yes.
Saying a proposed ballot measure calling for the killing of gay people is patently unconstitutional on its face. A Sacramento County judge has ruled that the state attorney general can halt the proposal. With the judge's ruling, the so-called Sodomite Suppression Act, really, will not move forward to the signature gathering phase and cannot be placed on a future ballot. The proposal, submitted by Huntington Beach attorney Matthew McLaughlin, sought to authorize the murder of gays and lesbians by bullets to the head or any other convenient method. He should be disbarred.
Unbelievable.
This proposed act is a product of bigotry, seeks to promote violence, is patently unconstitutional, and has no place in a civil society, Attorney General Kamala D. Harris said in a statement Tuesday.
As a hot wind shifted north and drove the flames toward Onyx Peak, east of Big Bear Lake, fire crews deployed to save homes scattered among brittle dry pines. Waiting for help from a DC-10 laden with 10,800 gallons of retardant, it never came. Shortly before 6 p.m. on Wednesday, an incident commander on the ground spotted a Hobby drone buzzing near the drop site at 11,000 feet. The air tanker had to turn back, as did two smaller planes following it. These folks who are handling these drones, I have to assume they have no idea what they're doing, a spokesman for the U.S. Forest Service said Thursday. They not only endangered the folks on the ground, but they endangered the pilots. Officials fighting the lake fire in the San Bernardino Mountains scrambled to warn the public that it is illegal and dangerous to fly drones in restricted airspace around a fire. Unmanned aircraft are particularly hazardous because authorities have no idea who is controlling them or how they might maneuver. The DC-10 had to divert and drop its retardant on a fire along the Nevada border, while the two smaller planes had to jettison theirs because they couldn't find land with that much weight. Officials said the failed mission cost between $10,000 and $15,000. As the planes returned to their base by Lake Arrowhead, pilots spotted another drone 1,200 feet above ground, far above the 400-foot limit set by the FAA for unmanned aircraft. Authorities could not locate the operators of the drones. They described the aircraft that obstructed the retardant drops as an orange or red fixed-wing drone. With a wingspan of 4 feet, Mike Eaton, forest aviation officer with the U.S. Forest Service, said police would be trolling mountain roads looking for people flying drones in the temporarily restricted airspace set by the FAA. Speaking at a news conference at San Bernardino Air Tanker Base, Eaton urged people to stay away from the fire. Red flyers were stapled around the fire map that read, "If you fly, we can't." Eaton said airdrops had to be shut down 2 hours early on Wednesday because of the drone. The fire certainly grew. We weren't able to drop the retardant, said. We had to shut down subsequent missions that could have possibly contained the fire. By Thursday morning, the fire had grown to 23,199 acres and was 21% contained. As unmanned aerial system technology had become more prevalent, so has run-ins between civilians using it and government agencies that considered it a danger. The U.S. Forest Service issued a statement last year on civilian drone use, warning that it could interfere with firefighting efforts.
A debate over the Confederate flag has raged in South Carolina in the week since a man walked into a Charleston church and shot 9 parishioners. On Tuesday, that debate moved to a neighborhood in East Petaluma. That's when Travis Kilborn hoisted the flag up a pole in his Lawson Drive yard, an action he says was meant to make a point about the First Amendment and the right to fly the flag at a time that many across the South and the nation are arguing to take it down because of its connection to slavery, segregation, and racism. I'm not a racist person. I don't condone racism of any kind, said Kilborn, 33, who described himself as a nonpartisan history buff who participates in Civil War reenactments as a Union soldier. His flying of the flag was not a response to a national tragedy. Rather, it was a response to the resulting backlash against the Confederate flag. Kilborn said, "I'm just a private citizen making a public statement about the First Amendment and how important it is." Former City Councilwoman Janice Cater Thompson, who lives nearby on Carlsbad Court, said she was shocked to see the flag in her neighborhood early Wednesday. Kilborn said he had not read much about the suspected killer and was not aware that Roof had affiliated himself with the flag. However, he maintained that it was wrong to take down the flag in reaction to the massacre in Charleston. Kilborn argued the flag was not a symbol of racism, but of history. Yeah.
The State Assembly Health Committee on Tuesday postponed a keynote on legislation that would allow adults with a terminal illness to seek medication from a doctor to end their lives, raising doubts about the fate the hotly contested bill. Democrats representing the Bay Area who sit on the committee are expected to support the end-of-life Option Act, but several Democratic members from Southern California remain undecided, and they're facing intense pressure from the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Los Angeles to vote no. The Assembly Health Committee has 19 members, including 12 Democrats. When the bill returns to the panel in 2 weeks, it will need support from at least 10 lawmakers to pass the measure onto the Assembly Judiciary Committee. The California Catholic Conference, which represents Catholic churches across the state, has firmly opposed the legislation since January, when Monning and Senator Lois Wolk D. Davis unveiled it at the Capitol. Earlier this month, when the measure cleared the state Senate, proponents seemed confident it would easily win approval in the overwhelmingly Democratic state assembly. But last week, Los Angeles Archbishop Joseph Gomez sent a letter to the members of the Health Committee urging them to reject legislation he believes has dangerous implications for our state, especially the poor and the most vulnerable. We cannot allow California to become a place where we respond to human suffering by simply making it easier for people to kill themselves, Gomez wrote. Helping someone die, even if that person is desperate and asks for help, is still killing. Inspired by the quest of 29-year-old Brittany Maynard of Alamo to end her grueling battle with brain cancer by moving to Oregon, lawmakers sought to allow California's terminally ill people greater choice over how and when they die. Governor Jerry Brown called Maynard before she died, but the former Jesuit seminarian has not indicated whether he will sign the bill. The measure is modeled after a similar law in Oregon with two key differences. It requires a translator for non-English speakers, and pharmacists, not just physicians, are given legally immunity for helping people die. Gomez attacked the bill as a quick fix solution that involves killing the people we find too difficult, too burdensome, or too expensive to take care of. He called on Catholic priests and parishioners from across Los Angeles County to contact local lawmakers who sit on the committee and urge them to vote no. The Archbishop is very excited about the energy, Andrew Rivas, a spokesman for Gomez, said Wednesday.
David Wallach woke up on his second day as an Oakland resident and soon had nothing more than the clothes on his back. The U-Haul truck the Army veteran rented was gone. With it went all things he brought after moving this month from Virginia to the East Bay. He said the truck was later found on Higginberger Road, empty except for trash. Wallach said, "Everything I owned was in that truck. I lost everything." Or so he thought. This week, the San Leandro Police Department called. They had found his name and phone number on a military duffel bag during a search on Monday of an East Oakland man arrested on warrants and a probation violation. Detectives had one question for Wallach. Was he the victim of a recent burglary? Wallach was stunned. "I walked in the room and everything was laid out. I said, I need a minute to take this in." The New York Mets fan from Connecticut saw his baseball memorabilia, his military coin collection, a U.S. flag he received upon his retirement, and another flag flown at an Army base in Iraq for 9 minutes and 11 seconds in honor of September 11, 2001 attacks. Some of his stuff was not there, but for the man who had forgiven the burglars already, he said he was stunned. "All of that stuff is monetarily worthless, but sentimentally it's worth an awful lot," he said by phone Thursday. The items were found on Monday during the arrest of 47-year-old Michael Welch of Oakland. When police later searched his home in the 1700 block of 84th Avenue, they found a loaded pistol by his bed with its serial number removed, narcotics in his bedroom, and Wallach's goods stashed in the trunk of a car in the driveway. Authorities say Welch has ties to the Hells Angels motorcycle club. He was arrested on outstanding arrest warrants and on suspicion of being a convicted felony in possession of a gun with the serial number removed, possession of stolen property, auto theft, and drug-related crimes. Wallach said he went for coffee on June 4th, and the U-Haul truck parked outside his brother's East Oakland home was gone when he returned. Wallach, according to police, served 20 years in the Army and had been deployed to Haiti, Bosnia, Kosovo, and served 2 tours in Iraq. While at Fort Irvin outside Barstow, Wallach visited his brother in Oakland and fell in love with the city he calls the Oak. The East Coast native who most recently worked as a deckhand on a tugboat on the East Coast said he had enough of Old Man Winter, setting his sights on Oakland. He got here June 3rd, planning to stay at his brother's home until he found a job and his own place. Wallach said that his burglary experience hasn't changed his views on his adopted hometown. He's now a converted Oakland Raiders fan and said he's been welcomed by the 66th MOB, or Make Oakland Better, a group of die-hard Raiders and East Bay fans who help local nonprofits. The Oak is my home, he said. I absolutely love it here. I'm not going to let the actions of one or two individuals corrupt my entire worldview of the city of Oakland and its fine citizens. You have to find beauty in everything, and there's so much beauty here. McManus, who was among the officers who greeted Wallach at police headquarters, said it was an honor to help a veteran. The best way to put it, when I left work on Tuesday night, I was able to go with a group of friends to watch the Warriors win the NBA Finals. I was able to do that because of people like him who protect our country, so they can live free and without fear. It was quite an honor to be able to meet a man who spent 20 years of his life defending our freedom. Coming up next is our local news. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Manticorp Tax and Accounting can help you minimize taxation, establish a corporate presence, and save you money. Our over 25 years of experience in domestic and international taxation and incorporation services makes us the best at what we do. Your first consultation at Manticorp is always free, and our discounted rates guarantee you will not end up paying for what you don't get. Try Manticorp today. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@manticorpusa.com.
In the summertime.
SSS Multimedia is sending you smoke signals, providing their clients with the ultimate communication and multimedia marketing, distribution, production, and web-based services. They feature high-def video equipment and quality audio sound. SSS is your multimedia source, from graphics for business cards to television production, radio, live sound, and everything in between. SSS is sending you smoke signals. Get your message out with SSS Multimedia. For more information, call 707-701-6416 or email info@sssmultimedia.com.
Welcome back, folks. We're ready for our local news. A 12-year-old, almost, that's right. A 12-year-old Ukiah boy has died 5 days after he was shot in the backyard of a South Ukiah home, allegedly by a 19-year-old who was waving a loaded gun around kids. That's smart. The boy, whose name has not been released, was taken off life support on Tuesday. The suspected shooter, Jaime Rodriguez, 19 of Ukiah, was arraigned Wednesday on an upgraded charge of involuntary manslaughter with a special allegation that he personally used a firearm. If convicted, he faced a maximum of 4 years in jail. Investigators are continuing to examine the incident. Rodriguez recently failed to show up to court hearings related to suspected incidents of burglary, hit and run, being on the influence of a controlled substance, and driving under the influence and resisting arrest, according to the district attorney's office.
Multiple fires have been put out around the county, including the Harvey Fire in Clear Lake Oaks. Harvey Boulevard in Clear Lake Oaks was closed to all traffic except emergency response vehicles for part of the day yesterday. There were also fires at Borax Lake on Sulphur Bank Road and near Olympic Drive in Clear Lake. Firefighters continued mop-up activities Tuesday from a fire that burned through private land within the Mendocino National Forest in the Upper Lake Ranger District. The blaze was reported Friday at about 7:30 p.m. and in total burned through about 25 acres of wildland south of Little Signal Peak, and east of the San Hendron Wilderness. The biggest concern was an area from a fire in 2008 with dead and downed trees that fueled the weekend blaze. We had wood that had been out there for a while, seasoning for almost 7 years, Schmidt said. We need to be more cautious for firefighters' safety. More than 100 firefighters and emergency personnel responded to the scene. CAL FIRE made the initial attack and worked through Friday night before federal fire crews from Mendocino, El Dorado, Plumas, and Six Rivers National Forest took over Saturday. The fire did not affect recreational activities at the forest, although Schmidt reminds campgoers to stay cautious. The biggest thing right now is we are entering fire season, she said. Be careful with anything that could potentially spark a wildfire.
Funding approved earlier this month by the state legislature's Budget Conference Committee for the protection and restoration of Clear Lake did not make Governor Jerry Brown's final budget signed on Wednesday. Brown instead directed the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the State Water Resources Control Board to work with Senator Mike McGuire and Republican Bill Dodd to identify sources of state or other funding to help address the significant water quality problems plaguing Clear Lake. The two legislatures successfully secured $1 million for Clear Lake in the state budget for the 2015-16 fiscal year during the legislative session, but Brown removed the appropriation from the budget. The state departments have been tasked with providing technical assistance to the lawmakers and to help Lake County residents develop grant applications for funding via Proposition 1, the $7.5 billion water bond, and other sources according to Ezra Shaban of Dodd's office. The funds, if secured, would be utilized by Lake County to provide wetland restoration, water quality improvement, and manage invasive species. McGuire and Dodd have been collaborating since early this year to secure greater investment in environmental protection and restoration of Clear Lake. While they are disappointed the funds won't immediately be appropriated, Dodd and McGuire will continue to work for funds from other sources.
The California Employment Development Department, or EDD, states there are about 30,550 Lake County residents in the workforce as of May. Of that number, 2,110 are estimated to be unemployed, or 6.9%. Not quite the 6.2% rate that California state averages, but an improvement nonetheless. The last time Lake County enjoyed unemployment levels so low, it was 2006. But according to Pamela Harpster, the more urgent problem is the number of people who commute out of the county every day for work, a figure that represents lost income and opportunity for Lake County. A little more than a third of our workers was estimated working in other counties than Lake. Many local employers are finding it more and more difficult to locate skilled workers, yet the average lower wages make it difficult for a family to become solvent given the cost of living, housing, childcare, transportation, etc. The big part of Harpster's long-term goal is to encourage more skilled and unskilled labor to become established within the county to better meet the diversity of the workforce and to encourage residents to keep it local. She's currently in the middle of a feasibility study about the prospects of developing a temporary staffing agency within the county to better help connect those looking for work with the work that's readily available. I must have gotten 1 to 3 calls a month asking, "Can you handling staffing for us?" she said. Because of all the costs of having employees, it can be hard for small businesses to maintain everything on their own. A staffing agency can help people reinvent themselves for work, to move on to the next level. It can be really helpful to move around between different companies, getting experience until you find something that just fits. For those looking for employment now, Harpster couldn't emphasize enough her respect for her former colleagues at One Stop and a high esteem for the assistance they're able to provide. Workforce Lake County offers a partnership approach with a variety of agencies all in one roof providing workforce development services. They are located at 55 First Street in Lakeport.
Easy for you to say. Habitat for Humanity recently installed a wheelchair lift and built a sidewalk at veteran Adam Shearer's hillside home. From the time he could not hold a pencil, Shearer longed to be an architect. After high school, he entered the U.S. Army and served for 10 months during the Vietnam War out of Camp Pendleton in San Diego as a bulk fuels tech before being honorably discharged as the sole surviving son in the family. After the war, Shearer fervently pursued his passion and worked as an architect until his retirement. A 25-year-old resident of Lake County, Shearer, a recent amputee, went to Habitat for Humanity for assistance getting into and out of his home. With the wheelchair lift and sidewalk, which Habitat for Humanity provided as part of the Home Depot Veterans Repair Program, Shearer is able to get his wheelchair in and out of his home and from the house to his driveway. It is fun going up and down. The lift and sidewalk have been very helpful, Shearer said. I love that the lift lets me get into my garden and that I no longer get the chair stuck in the mud when it rains. I appreciate the work Habitat did for my house. If you're a military veteran homeowner, or if you're a veteran who resides in a family member's home and requires repairs or accessibility modifications made to the structure to accommodate a disability, Habitat for Humanity encourages you to apply to the Veterans Repair Program by coming into the office at 16285 A Main Street in Lower Lake or calling the office at 707-994-1100 for an application.
And with our weather until Monday. Today is going to be mainly sunny. We're getting a high near 100 degrees. Winds will be from the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight will bring us partly cloudy skies and a low of 63. Winds remain the same. Saturday we'll see sunshine and some clouds with a high of 92 and staying stable. Saturday night we will see partly cloudy skies during the evening, which will give way to cloudy skies overnight. The low will be 62. Winds staying out of the south-southwest, slowing to 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday will bring partly cloudy skies with a high around 90 degrees. Winds shifting to the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday night we'll have clear skies and a low of 62. Winds back from the south-southwest at 5 to 10. When we join you again on Monday, it will be mainly sunny with a high of 98. Winds staying out of the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour once again.
Well, at least it's cooling down a little bit for the weekend.
Not really.
Well, we'll be in Santa Rosa when I'm playing
Wishful
baseball.
thinking.
I know. In sports, West Shore Little League is hosting the District 2 Minor League Baseball All-Star Tournament beginning Saturday and running through July 9th at Pickle Field and the AAA field located at the Lake County Fairgrounds off Martin Street in Lakeport. West Shore Little League is also hosting the 50-70 All-Stars, players ages 11 to 13, at the same location. The Minors All-Stars are for players ages 9 to 10. The host West Shore All-Stars are managed by Regum Stuhler and coached by Jason Sutterquist and Matt Hartzog. Their first game is Sunday at 5 p.m. against the winner of a Saturday game between Olivehurst, Linda, and Kelseyville.
For the first time in 12 years, West Shore Little League is sending an All-Star Girls Major Softball team to compete in the District 2 All-Star Tournament in Yuba City. Sponsored by Pure Insurance, the West Shore team will play Westside in opening round action on June 20th at 4 p.m. A win moves West Shore into a second round game on June 23rd at 6 p.m. A loss sends the team into consolation bracket on June 21st at 4. All games take place in Yuba City, and the field is located at 101 2nd Street.
Isn't that all past already?
The Golden State Warriors selected 6'9", 220-pound Kevon Looney, a 19-year-old UCLA freshman, as their first-round draft pick. Looney averaged 11.6 points and 9.2 rebounds during his only season at UCLA. Looney led all college freshmen with 15 double-doubles while helping the Bruins to the Sweet 16. There are varying reports about the severity of Kevon Looney's hip injury. None of them was enough to dissuade the Golden State Warriors from selecting the 19-year-old UCLA freshman. Given the tremendous depth on Golden State's roster, Looney will have plenty of time to get his health right before acclimating to the pros. That is, if he even hurts. Warriors general manager Bob Myers said that despite reports Looney might miss the upcoming season, the team has no indication that the rookie's situation is serious. Looney, who played power forward with the Bruins, is a physical rebounder who can also score from the perimeter. He was UCLA's best three-point shooter last season when he shot 41.5% from beyond the arc.
The Speedy Giants hit 4 triples in a game for the first time in 55 years, including a pair by belt and 13-8 win over the San Diego Padres on Thursday. Brandon Crawford and Matt Duffy also tripled for San Francisco, which had not tripled 4 times in a game since September 15th of 1960. Buster Posey and Gregor Blanco each had 3 RBIs for the Giants, who built a 7-0 lead by the 6th and won for the 5th game in 7 games. San Francisco has won consecutive home games for the first time since May 28th through the 29th. Chris Heston, 8-5, who pitched a no-hitter at the New York Mets on June 9th, won for the 3rd time in 4 starts. He gave up 2 runs and 5 hits in 7 innings, struck out 6, and walked 1.
Not a bad performance. Brett Lawrie hit a grand slam. Josh Figley homered for the 2nd night in a row, and the fast-starting A's beat Texas 8-2 on Wednesday night for the 4th straight win. Lowry's 3rd grand slam, an estimated 422 feet into the Oakland bullpen in left center, made it 5-0 in the first. Kendall Graveman allowed 2 runs pitching into the 8th inning. It was the 4th consecutive game in which he pitched at least 7 innings while allowing 2 runs or fewer, but he had only been 0-2 in the previous 3. The right-hander gave up 8 runs in 3 1/3 innings against the Rangers in April and struggled in his first 4 starts before going back to AAA Nashville, but has been strong in 7 starts the past month. A's rookie center fielder Billy Burns led off each of the first 2 innings with doubles and scored both times on hits by Stephen Voigt. Burns also signaled a 3rd and has a 14-game hitting streak with hits in 26 of his past 27 games. Fiegler's 2-run homer in the 2nd made it 8-0.
Kelseyville High School and Sonoma State are teaming up once again this year to host a volleyball camp July 27th through the 30th for players entering the 5th through 12th grades in the fall. Camp A for girls entering the 5th through 8th grade meets at 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. each of the 4 days of the camp. Check-in time is 11:15 a.m. Players signing up by July 1st pay $80, and those signing up after pay $90. Camp B is for girls entering the 9th through 12th grades, and they meet from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. each of the 4 days of the camp. Check-in time for the morning season is 8:45 a.m. For the morning session, and check-in time for the afternoon session is 1:45 p.m. Players signing up by July 1st pay $110, and those signing up after pay $120. Sonoma State volleyball coach Bear Grassel leads the camp and will be assisted by Kelseyville High School's coaching staff. Players will learn overhand and underhand passing, spiking, blocking, serving, individual and team offense, and individual and team defense.
Lower Lake High School basketball is offering a Get a Day Better Elite Skills Camp on July 25th and 26th for boys and on August 1st to 2nd for girls at the Lower Lake High School's new gym. The sign-up fee of $100 includes a custom camp t-shirt, 2 days of elite skills training with a focus on the fundamentals of basketball that include ball handling, shooting, passing, defense, and much more. The camp is led by Joshua Jordan, CEO and co-founder of Follow Through Athletics. Jordan played college basketball at Bethany University and has played professional ball overseas in Bolivia and New Zealand. He has trained overseas players as well as semi-pro players, prepping them for the NBA Developmental League. I want to raise the level of basketball in the county and give players in the area an opportunity to become great and change basketball culture in Lake County. This is according to Jordan. Jordan will be assisted by Lower Lake High School coaches and players. Both the boys and girls sessions are split into 3 divisions. Kindergarten through 2nd graders meet at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. 3rd through 5th graders meet from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 6th through 8th graders meet from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. To reserve a spot, you must pay 2 weeks prior to the first day of camp. Contact Tim Biasati at 688-9351 for more information or to set up payment.
And in our final word, 6 years after his untimely death, Michael Jackson made an appearance in the skies over Central Virginia. The combination of clouds and light created an image that appeared to some to look like the king of pop. The image was captured over Goochland County, Virginia, during a June 23rd lightning storm. Jackson died on June 25, 2009. Photographer John Plashall said he was unaware of the Jackson imagery when he first submitted photos to the WTVR CBS 6 Facebook page following the storm. He said that a storm chaser app, not a higher calling, compelled him to set up his camera outside Satterwhite's restaurant in Goochland, where he took several photos of the lightning storm. The image that you see of Michael Jackson just happens to be there, Ploshel said. He insisted he added nothing to the photo. It's pretty wild. The 45-year-old said he was a fan of Michael Jackson and said he particularly recalled how the music video for Thriller changed MTV. Yes? Oh, okay. He also said Jackson's death 6 years ago was one of those I knew where I was moments. I was at the pool with friends. My friend got a text that Michael Jackson had just died, Ploshel said. He was an icon. He said his 17-year-old daughter Caroline is also a Jackson fan and would be thrilled to know her father's photo has caused such a stir. Do you remember where you were when Michael Jackson died?
Hell no. Why would I? Never mind. Thank you for watching, folks. Next live newscast will be on Monday at noon with myself, Peter Schiffman.
And me, Megan Berg. Actually, I won't be here.
No, you won't be here. That's why I said that.
Amanda will be here.
And Amanda will be back
And
on
Amanda
Monday.
Gonzalez.
Our next live broadcast will be at 3 p.m. today with Pasha Space.
And on Saturday.
And on Saturday, we'll have Sister T with The Bridge starting at 9 o'clock. You all have a great day. Be safe and stay out of the heat.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Go gay marriage.